news you can trust.
Different series of Freedom Communications Incorporated. A pleasant good evening and welcome to this Tuesday, June 18, 2024 presentations of the program Freedom Even News Basket, a 45 minutes of all of the latest news from Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one world. And this newscast has been relayed on Radio Howard in Pokwa District, Grand Kidman County. My name is Thomas Kojo, presenting this Tuesday presentations of the news program. And these are big stories we're covering this evening. Over government failures to meet its operational needs, House Speaker Fonati Kofa threatens to shut down the House of Representatives, expressed its disappointment in the executive. Japanese government and its consignment of rights to the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as Japanese ambassador to Liberia commits his government to Liberia's developmental agenda. Civil servant agency continues dismissal of several civil servants in the country, discloses the removal of additional employees from government payroll. And away from Liberia, according to the BBC, the Kenyan government has scrapped some proposed taxes in this year's controversial finance bill, including a 16% on bread after public outcry. The details of these, including the bulletin of news, the agile voices, are all coming after this short break. Many thanks for joining us on the program, Freedom Even News Basket. At this point, we'll cross over to Studio B, where Jara Morris is seated to read for us the bulletin of news. A pleasant good evening to you, Jara.
Good evening, Kojo. Good evening, Liberia. House Speaker Jonathan Fonati Kofa has threatened to shut down the House of Representatives due to the failure of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning to meet the operational needs of that body. According to Speaker Kofa, despite the latest budget numbers from the Liberia Revenue Authorities showing positive performance, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning is yet to meet up with the House of Representatives' operational needs. The Krenku County lawmaker expressed concern over the ongoing financial constraints faced by the House of Representatives, noting that although the Liberian Senate is well taken care of and given every necessary funding intended for its operations. Speaker Kofa emphasized that members of the House of Representatives cannot continue to borrow money from NGOs and banking institutions within the country when there are funding within the national budget for legislative functioning. Speaker Kofa made the assertions during the 9th-day sitting of the House of Representatives when the LRA Commissioner General Double Jara appeared before the House to provide information concerning the status of the country's revenues generated thus far. The government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has received a donation of a consignment of rice from the Japanese government aimed at addressing the demand of food, especially rice, in the country. Donating the rice to the Liberian government, Japanese ambassador to Liberia, Matsuki Hasanubu, noted that the donation of rice goes beyond Liberia and Japan's shared relationship, as well as long-standing mutual respect, which was recently reinforced. According to Ambassador Hasanubu, the rice, which is valued at 300 million Japanese yen or US 1.5 million, is on the Japanese Food Aid 2022 program agenda for Liberia. Ambassador Hasanubu noted that Japan remains consistent in its support to assist Liberia's food assistance program, adding that the food assistance program goes beyond just donation of rice, but also the construction of infrastructures, including rice mills that will support rice production in the country and also strengthen economic growth. Receiving the donation on behalf of the government, acting foreign minister Gabriel Salid noted that the Liberia Japan relationship goes beyond the food assistance program to the country. He said President Joseph Boakai is aware of Japan's support for his arrest agenda, noting that Liberia is appreciative that the Japanese government assistance to Liberia is also targeting market infrastructure to help boost the economy of Liberia. He applauded Japan for thinking about Liberia's future, especially that's capacity building and infrastructure development, as well as technology in creating a better environment. The Director General at the Civil Service Agency has disclosed that the agency has forwarded to the Ministry of Justice for investigation three government spending entities for what he described as grave financial leakages at those institutions. CSA Director General Josiah Jokai said the CSA embarked on a journey to sanitize the payroll and is conducting a comprehensive physical variation and headcount of employees of the more than 100 government spending entities. He named the Ministry of Mines and Energy, Liberia Institute for Public Administration, and the National Coordinating Revenue Mechanism, which, according to him, human resource directors and financial controllers failed to clearly provide and verify the documentation missteps and misappropriation of funds. According to the CSA director, the personnel verification and headcount audit is part of the CSA payroll audit of all spending government institutions. The CSA director further that during the CSA verification process, the Ministry of Finance, that's the Ministry of Mines and Energy, had about 40 individuals taking pay but are not going to work, adding that those individuals' total monthly salaries amount to over US 18,000 but have since been removed from the payroll. At the same time, that's the Civil Service Agency Director General disclosed that 81 individuals from the Ministry of Mines and Energy has been suspended without pay for missing 8 working days, something he said saved the government 36,881 USD for 1 month. Josiah Joker maintained that at the Liberia Institute for Public Administration, 28 employees were dismissed and removed from government payroll for being absent for 14 to 20 working days, thus saving the government of Liberia US 17,597 every month. Jokai pointed out that the National Center for the Coordinating and Response Mechanism, after conducting the headcount and thorough verification, 12 individuals were removed from the payroll for failing to provide evidence of their employment with the entity from October to December of last year. Joker assured that the removal of the 12 ghost names from LIPA will save the government US 25,708 dollars monthly. The European Union funded Communities for Fisheries project implemented by the Environmental Justice Foundation will co-host a 2-day roundtable discussion with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. The discussion aims to bring together stakeholders from the fisheries and forestry sectors to secure sustainable small-scale fisheries in the context of food security and poverty eradication. According to NAFA release, the two-day roundtable discussion will be on Wednesday the 19th and end on Thursday 20th June 2024 at the corporate headquarters of the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority. The discussion will focus or that's on the voluntary guidelines on the responsible governance of tenure of land, fisheries, and forest in the context of national food security and voluntary guidelines for securing sustainable small-scale fisheries in the context of food security and poverty eradication. These guidelines are essential for ensuring the sustainability of the Liberian fisheries sector. Additionally, the discussion will outline a roadmap for securing fish landing sites and fish smoking spaces to support sustainable fisheries. The Committees for Fisheries is a 5-year project in Margibi, Grand Bassa, Grand Cape Mount, and Grand Crook counties to reduce illegal fishing and improve the sustainability of fisheries by expanding and strengthening community co-management associations. Components of the project include mapping turf for the Collaborative Management Association. The release furthered that the scope of the work will include mapping and documenting fish landing sites and fish smoking species to protect fishing communities against potential beachfront development that could negatively impact their livelihood. The House of Representatives has endorsed several recommendations geared towards improving the operations of West Africa Free Forestry Development Incorporated, situated in District 2, Grand Bassa County. Plenary decision was reached following a report submitted by the Committee on Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries recently set up. Committee was mandated to probe formal complaint filed to the House of Representatives through the Concession Review Committee by the West Africa Forestry Development Incorporated. The company accused Grand Bassa County District 2 Representative Clarence Banks of obstructing its operational activities, thereby causing loss of revenue. Thus, the committee recommended the citation of WADI, the management of the Forestry Development Authority, Finance and Development Planning Ministry, and LRA in keeping with Chapter 3, Section 3.1A and B, and 4.1 of the 2006 National Forestry Reform Law to provide information as to what is obtaining as it relates to West Africa Forestry Development Incorporated operations. The House of Representatives believes that in order to take effective control of illegal logging, it requires action across many policy areas, including the promotion of good governance, action to tackle corruption, land reform, industrial development assistance, and a strong stance on promoting forest and other natural habitats in the country. The House wants the company to present a copy of its memorandum of understanding reached with the locals where it is operating, pending a visit to other sites of the company where there are reports of mold damage. Meanwhile, Plenary wants the Forestry Development Authority to provide more detail of the operations of the company. Then, after Grand Bassa County Superintendent, former Grand Bassa County Superintendent Janje Bakbe called for speedy investigation into alleged brutalization of Buchanan Port worker Justice Tar, the managing director of the Port of Buchanan, Jonathan Kape, has denied any involvement in the alleged assault on the port that's employee. On Monday, the former superintendent of Grand Bassa County pointed accusing fingers at heads of the Port of Buchanan for brutalization of its worker. Addressing reporters on the incident Monday, former Senator Kaipi stated that he did not authorize the physical handling of tar by seaport officers. Kaipi further that as head of the port, he will not condone the brutalization of any citizen, emphasizing his commitment to the welfare of all port staffers. Capit clarified that he was not responsible for ordering the flogging of Tar, adding that he is being falsely accused as the instigator of the incident. Meanwhile, former Senator Capi has assured citizens that findings from the investigation will be made public upon its conclusion. The president of the Motorcycle and Tricycle Union in Grand Bassa County, Asik P, is calling on Liberia National Police to carry on proper investigation about the illegal brutalization of one of Buchanan motorcyclists identified as Jonathan James. Recently, the motorcyclist identified as Jonathan James was allegedly brutalized by disadvantaged youth on Sunday, June 16, 2024. Speaking with reporters, P said Jonathan James was brutalized by unknown disadvantaged youth while on traffic. According to P, Jonathan James was badly brutalized, leaving him with several bodily injuries, adding that he is currently at the 14th Military Hospital in McGill County undergoing treatment. Pate further told reporters that eyewitnesses who were on the scene informed him that before the incident occurred, Jonathan collected two passengers from the 704 Club and dropped them at Zinkham Community in Buchanan. The Supreme Court has banned three attorneys at law from sitting its legal exams. Attorneys are Alfonso Wewer, Peterson Blamore, and Alexander Sely were banned for dishonesty and fraudulent acts. The three lawyers, according to our judicial correspondent, submitted a fake petitions to the court claiming that they met the 5 years legal requirement for admission as counselor at law to the Supreme Court bar as provided by Chapter 6.17 of the Judiciary Law. The court Friday said the three lawyers will not sit its legal exams until October 2027, adding that the court will not entertain lawyers with tinted characters coming before it. The three lawyers were among 63 attorneys who filed a petition before the court to be admitted as counselor to the Supreme Court bar, but were later disqualified for lying to the court. And trial jurors of the 16th Judicial Circuit Court of Bapolu County Tuesday returned with a guilty verdict against defendant Franklin Konga, aged 44, for raping a 12-year-old girl in Bakutat, Bokumun District, Bapolu County in 2023. The jury majority verdict, according to our judicial correspondent, came after Judge Wise entertained final legal argument between prosecutors and defense lawyers. Our judicial correspondent further said that prior to the jury decision, Judge Wise released several pre-trial detainees who were in prisons at the Bopolu Central Prison on allegation of rape, but without being indicted by the state, and later sentenced to 40 year. Well, could you? That's the new bulletin.
The news bulletin with John Morris, a regular featured on Freedom Even News Basket, of 45 minutes of all of the latest news from Liberian as well. And if you just joined us, these are big stories we're carrying this evening over government failures to meet its operational needs. House Speaker Fonati Kofa threatens to shut down the House of Representatives, expressing disappointment in the executive. Japanese government donates consignment of rice to the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as Japanese ambassador to Liberia commits his government to Liberia's developmental agenda. Civil Servant Agency continues dismissal of several civil servants in the country, discloses the removal of additional employees from the government payroll. And away from Liberia, according to the BBC, Kenya's government has scrapped some proposed tax in this year's controversial financial bill, including 16% levied on bread after a public outcry. That I'm bringing the voices of those behind the news. House Speaker Funati Kofa has threatened to shut down the House of Representatives due to the failure of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning to meet the operational needs of that August body. According to Speaker Funati Kofa, despite the latest budget numbers from the Liberia revenue authorities showing positive performance, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning is yet to meet with the House of Representatives about operational needs. The Karenku County lawmaker expressed concern over the ongoing financial constraint faced by the House of Representatives, noting that through the Liberian Senate, that though the Liberian Senate were taken care of, they, as members of the House of Representatives, are yet to get their operational funds.
It's leading us to a dangerous conclusion, one which we must not make in the interest of coordination of the branches of government. I'm disappointed, and we have been prepared here at the House of Representatives to make any sacrifice. If the Commissioner General comes and say revenue are not performing, we will be the first to say, okay, we understand. But for him to come here today and say he's overperforming, and the Senate is well taken care of, and the House of Representatives has almost only 2 months worth of benefit. And can I get money for retreat? We can go back and NGOs, stationaries. Mr. Minister, I'm holding the reason why I held the appearance of the Minister of Finance in advance on some tech issues because I want to hear your information. I will tell you this: if we cannot come to a resolution pretty soon, we'll shut this House of Representatives down.
Funati Kofa is the Speaker of the House of Representatives that threatened to shut down the House due to the failure of the Ministry of Finance Development Planning to meet the operational needs of that August body. The government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has received a donation of a consignment of rice from the Japanese government aimed at addressing the demands of rice, especially within the Leeward counties. Donating the rice to the Liberian government, Chinese ambassador to Liberia noted that the donation of rice goes beyond Liberia and Japan's shared relationship, as well as long-standing mutual respect, which was recently reinforced. According to Ambassador Yunbu, the rice, which is valued at 300 million Japanese yen or 1.5 million United States dollars, is under the Japanese Free Food Aid 2022 programs agenda for Liberia.
To be here today for the handing over of food assistance support in the form of rice valued at 300 million Japanese yen, equivalent to 1.5 million US dollars to the government and the people of Liberia. Liberia and Japan, we have shared a wonderful relationship built on mutual support and respect for a long time. And in recent years, we have strengthened this friendship at various bilateral and multilateral occasions. Today, Japan is taking another step to further strengthen the valued friendship and cooperation between our two countries. Following the current shortage of rice, the government of Liberia requested our assistance, and we are honored to provide this additional support in order to assist in resolving the situation. This assistance is in line with Japan's commitment to global food security, and it's an extension of KR Food Assistance Program, which began in 2008, and through which we have provided support to Liberia in the past. KR Food Assistance Program has been one of the sustainable means of raising value through the counterpart value fund to tackle the government of Liberia's pro-developmental initiative. As Mr. Steve has just explained, group workshop in Nimba County, for instance, is one of the examples that we can add our support to Liberia. And we have wonderful examples, and Japan is committed to continue this value-added assistance to Liberia. Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister, and dignitaries, I am aware rice serves as more than just a staple food for the people of Liberia. For many households, it represents sustenance. This is one of the reasons why life has been the main item of our care food assistance program. Due to the importance of life to majority of the people in Liberia, finding a long-term solution to guarantee there is enough supply to meet demand is essential. I know the government of Liberia has been taking its own initiative to boost local production and provide sustainable means of addressing the continued rice shortage situation.
Receiving the donation on behalf of the government and people of Liberia, the acting Foreign Minister Gabriel City noted that the Liberia-Japan relationship goes beyond the full assistance program to the country. He said President Joseph Walker is aware of Japan's support for his IRS agenda, noting that Liberia is appreciative and that the Chinese government assistance to Liberia is also targeting market infrastructure to help boost the country's economy.
Today, we are here marking a history in the relationship between Japan and Liberia. On behalf of His Excellency Joseph Walker, President of the Republic of Liberia, and the people of Liberia and government, we are pleased this morning to be representing Her Excellency Madam Cyril Ezra-Yanti, Minister of Foreign Affairs, in receiving this donation on behalf of the Liberian government. The relationship between Liberia and Japan come a long way, and we are excited that the Japanese carrot seafood aid did not just start today, it started a couple of years ago. Based on the background of the process, Japan has been responsible to provide so much support for us, ranging from our human resource capacity building, our infrastructure development, our social economy, which include Japan's responsibility in helping to construct market houses for Liberia, the Douala market, the Kopacho market, and market across the country. Japan's role to Liberia is immense, and we cannot just overemphasize at this particular moment. We are grateful for the relationship, and the Liberian government is wholeheartedly excited to receive such a tremendous support from the Japanese people. We want you to know that President Joseph Walker agenda for the arrest is being supported by the Japanese government. In this regard, we are grateful also. The Japanese government has also supported the Liberian people by creation of job, income generation capacity, which of course you can see here. Japan is giving our rights not for us to eat, but of course to make money and to invest into the well-being and development of our country and our people. There are many countries that will just give us to eat, but Japan is thinking about the future. Japan is thinking about our capacity. Japan is thinking about our infrastructure. Japan is thinking about our technology. Japan is interested in Liberia going forward to ensure that the government work along with them to sustain a better economy and better environment for our people in the future.
Gabriel City is the acting foreign minister of Liberia. They're appreciating the government and people of Japan for the donation of rice to the country. They're only listening to the Japanese ambassador to Liberia, who presented rice worth over 1.5 million United States dollars to the government of Liberia. Bringing us to have our past the mark in the news. If you just join us, you are listening to the Tuesday, June 18, 2024 presentations of the program Freedom Even News Basket. The 45 minutes are all of the latest news from Liberia and elsewhere. We are taking a break. We'll come back. We'll continue the news program. In the big stories we're carrying this evening, over government failures to meet its operational needs. House Speaker Fonati Kofa threatens to shut down the House of Representatives, expresses disappointment with the executive. Japanese government donates consignment of rice to the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as Japanese ambassador to Liberia recommits his country to Liberia's development. Civil 7 agency continues its measures. Civil 7 within the country discloses the removal of additional employees from the government payroll. And away from Liberia, Kenyan government has scrapped some proposed taxes in this year's country's controversial financial bill, including a 16% leverage on bread after a public outcry. Then I continue with more voices on the news program. The Director General of the Civil 7 Agency has disclosed the agency has forwarded to the Ministry of Justice for investigation 3 government spending entities for what he described as grave financial leakages at those institutions. The CSA Director General Josiah Joka said the CSA embarked on a journey to sensitize the payroll, and it is conducting a comprehensive physical verification and headcounts of employees of more than hundreds of government spending entities. He named the Ministry of Mines and Energy, the Liberia Institute for Public Administration, and the National Coordinating Review Mechanism, which, according to him, Human Resource Director and financial controllers failed to clearly provide and verify documentation, make steps, and make appropriation of funds within their respective entities.
CSA has finalized the analysis of 3 government spending entities, attendance records from January to March 2024. The analysis reports show that several employees are in direct violation of Section 4, 3, 4, and 16 of the revised Civil Service Standing Order of 2012, which states, and I quote, unauthorized absence from work for a period of 14 consecutive days may be considered by an agency head as resignation. Unquote. In keeping with this provision, the Civil Service Agency has recommended dismissal, suspension, and warning actions against employees from the 3 spending entity. Number 1, Ministry of Mines and Energy. The Civil Service Agency has recommended the dismissal of 40 employees in violation of this provision. The dismissal of the 40 employees will save the government $18,539.98 monthly and will save the government annually $222,479.76. Still, with the Ministry of Mines and Energy, the Civil Service Agency has recommended the suspension without pay 81 employees. These employees, on average, did not show up to work for 8 to 12 days monthly. The government is saving for the month in question $36,881.87 for the month as a result of suspending the 81 employees without pay. Finally, for the Ministry of Mines and Energy, the Civil Service Agency has recommended 10 employees to be warned and with the total amount of $514 deducted from their salary. The individuals, on average, did not show up to work for 5 to 7 days monthly. The Liberia Institute for Public Administration, the Civil Service Agency, has recommended the dismissal of 28 individuals. The dismissal of these individuals will save the government $17,597.17 monthly and will save the government on the overall $211,166.04 annual. These employees, on average, did not show up to work for 14 to 20 days monthly. Still, with the Liberia Institute for Public Administration, the Civil Service Agency has recommended the suspension without pay cited employees. These employees' suspension will lead to 1 month saving of $17,215.
He's the Director General of the Civil 7 Agency of Liberia, Josiah Joka, there announcing the mass dismissal of employees from 3 government entities that have been forwarded to the Ministry of Justice for proper investigation. Coming up next is the foreign development, but this will set the pace. The president of the Motorcycle and Tricycle Union in Grand Bassa County, as it paid, is calling on the Liberia National Police to carry out proper investigation about the alleged brutalization of one of the Buchanan motorcyclists identified as Jonathan James. Recently, the motorcycle identified as Jonathan James was allegedly brutalized by disadvantaged youth on Sunday, 16 June 2024. Speaking with reporters, Pate said Jonathan James was brutalized by unknown disadvantaged youth while he was on traffic. According to Pay, Jonathan James was badly brutalized, leaving him with several bodily injuries, adding that he is currently at the 14 Military Hospital in Makibi County undergoing treatment.
Have a critical issue on here now, and it's very difficult for us as a leader to handle. And we want to use the public platform to call on all civil society actors and the national police to intervene. One of our cyclists by the name of Jonathan James was brutalized by the quote-unquote people referred to as disadvantaged youth. For me, I want to refer to them as Zogo. He was chapel badly, and he was taken to JFK, and there were no there, as I said. I'm currently at the 14 Military Hospital, and I received a phone call this morning that one of the R left yesterday at Post, and they made away with it back, and it's very frustrating. And we want to condemn this in a stronger tone. We want to call on the police commander to swiftly intervene to see how best we can get those perpetrators. On Sunday, by 2, according to the person that talking to the family, and we are trying our best. From yesterday, I tried making my way to all of the ghetto, making their leader, their heads, to make sure that they turn all the back to the police. And if they get any tip off, that they can also turn the person over to the police. According to the person that gave her the information before we got there, they put it, and I quote, they said that he took 2 persons on the 7:04 clock. He took them around Zinkian. When he dropped them, he saw 4 men with cutlasses in there asking him to turn over his key, and he said no. So while in the torso, they fall hard and start chopping him to only get it back from him. So when he fell, according to the person that talking to the family, they said when they took him and I had spotted him and they took him to the hospital. So since Sunday, we are trying our best to see how best we can go after the person, and also we are reached out to the police, and we are also registered the case, and we're making sure that we can get him. But it's so frustrating in a kind of country where the economy is very tough to see people who are trying to find a daily, bread, to see them people who are referred to as Soko to be every day on their back.
Asi Pay is the president of the Motorcycle and Transcycle Union in Grand Bassa County. They are calling on the Liberia National Police to carry out proper investigation about the alleged brutalization of one of their colleagues in the Buchanan City, identified as Jonathan James. And he's taking us back to Jara Morris for the foreign news.
Kenya's government has scrapped one proposed taxes in this year's controversial finance bill, including a 16% levy on bread after a public outcry. The announcement by MPs came as police fired tear gas and used water cannon to try to disperse angry protesters in the capital, Nairobi. Dozens of people have been arrested, and lawyers earlier joined chanting crowds at the city's main police station to demand that detainees be freed. Since coming to office in 2022, President William Ruto has introduced several new and unpopular taxes with the aim of lightening the country's national debt of nearly 80 billion. But critics of the latest proposal fear they will stifle economic growth and lead to job losses. Some of the protesters marching through the capital called on the president to resign, shouting, Ruto must go, Ruto must go. The U-turn over the new finance bill was announced by Karen Kumani, chairman of the Parliamentary Finance Committee, at a press briefing attended by President Ruto, as well as other lawmakers in the ruling coalition. His finance team has been collecting public views on the bill, and he said the decision to drop some of the proposal has been made to protect Kenyans from the increasing cost of living. Other proposed taxes that have been accepted include ones on cooking oil, mobile money services, and on motor vehicles, which critics said who have also hit the insurance industry.
The foreign news from East Africa and Kenya is taking us home on this Tuesday, the 18th of June 2024 presentations of the program Freedom Even News Basket. Before we leave you a recap of top stories we've been following. Over government failures to meet its development. Civil 7 agency continues to dismiss civil servants in the country. Discloses the removal of additional employees from the government of Liberia payroll. Away from home, according to the BBC, the Kenyan government has scrapped some proposed taxes in this year's controversial finance bill, including a 16% leverage on bread after public outcry. We'd love to say many thanks to all of our writers, correspondents, editors, and contributors who have been making today's presentations of the news program a success. Jara Morris was here with the Bulletin of News and the foreign news from East Africa. Tane Nangwe, Sarah Control, and coordinated the sound system. I'm Thomas Rollak. I presented a pleasant Tuesday evening from the nation's capital, Monrovia.